Hey everyone, we're really excited to announce some new changes coming to the next Thrive update. And to talk about some of those changes, I've got Scott Sorheim here, the founder of Lean Tech, to talk through some of those things. So let's just dive right into that. First question I have is Thrive updates on a weekly basis already. What is new with this Thrive update compared to some of the previous releases?
Yeah, it's a good question because a lot of our customers are used to getting weekly updates or maybe monthly, even if they're on premise. And the reason this is different and that we wanted to communicate a little bit is that there's been a lot of work that we've been doing to make it better for you as you're using the product. And so there won't be necessarily any immediate front end changes that you may notice, but behind the scenes, we've been looking at a lot of different pieces of Thrive, what goes into Thrive. And as we watch our user base use the product and move to more mobile, a lot more mobile use cases, we're trying to figure out how to make the platform lighter weight and faster. So we've taken a look at a whole bunch of things, front end stuff, and chosen maybe some technology tool sets that are a little bit lighter in weight or consume less bandwidth. And then also in the long haul, maybe opens up some decisions for us in terms of design decisions and things that we can do to put more emphasis on mobile. We've done similar things on the back end. So on the back end, we try to reduce the number of database calls, the amount of database activity we have on the back end going on significantly. And so while it's in some ways just another normal update, there's a lot contained within it that is our changes for not only right now, but are laying the groundwork for some future things.
Are these changes, as a user of Thrive, is there anything that I need to do to prepare for this? Will there be any additional training that I need to do, or will my process stay the same with the certain modules that I'm used to using every day?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, no. From a training standpoint, Thrive will more or less look the same. There are going to be some subtle differences potentially. There is another entirely new theme. So some of you used to seeing both what we call the V3, which is the grayish and blue skin. And then there's the material theme, which some of you have also used. We've introduced a new one, which in the long run will probably be a different, or the way of how Thrive will look in the future. And that one right now is called Standard. So you can choose that, but really from when you sign in one day to after the update and you sign in the next day, Thrive should look the same. The experience should be the same. Where you'll find things is the same. We haven't really changed anything in that regard yet. So the user experience, there shouldn't be any additional training required. Largely, we just wanted to communicate that there's been a number of changes because there are some underlying changes, but as a user using those things, you really shouldn't notice. At least that's our hope, honestly, is that the experience will largely be the same, but hopefully with all of the changes we've made, we'll start to gain some performance improvements and really enable, with some of our technology choices, make some other decisions going forward.
That's awesome. So going forward then, kind of segueing into that, what does this enable Thrive to do? It sounds like there's been some styling changes, some theme improvements, some speed improvements. Are there any other new features that are being implemented with this update?
Yeah, so right now there's only one particularly new feature, and that is Kanban. So Kanban is something that we've implemented within the customer and sales portion of Thrive. And it can be used for your estimates or opportunities, depending on if you're leveraging that at all. But that is a technology or a tool set. So as we build the Thrive platform out, so there's all the different ways we're trying to help people solve problems. And Kanban is one that comes up and can be used in a number of areas for managing projects, be it users' assignments, work order projects, safety incident management, follow up to that, of to do, doing, done, that concept within safety incident management. So the Kanban, we've now have that as part of the platform, and we'll be extending that further into the platform going forward. That's the one thing that's actually new, but what this is enabling us to do is some other things too. So as we've seen, I'd say 5 years ago, we saw a lot of people talking about mobile, but not necessarily people putting dollars toward mobile, meaning phones, tablets on the shop floor, but we see those use cases increasing. And one of the needs in that is how do we quickly get people to what they do? So if I'm doing audits regularly or work orders regularly, how can I get to those things quickly? And so we've got something called, conceptually it's like an app store, we're kind of loosely referring to right now as a launch pad, where it's on mobile. If I'm going to just kick off a new work order, a new work request, to track a safety incident, a quality incident, whatever it is, I'll have a way to customize or tailor that mobile home screen for those needs. And so that's something that with some of our decisions from a technology standpoint is making that easier to execute. And so that's something that will be coming just around the corner. Another thing is really in context help. So we've had a help doc site. A lot of times we make videos for people, but what we found is what would be really nice is to have it so that the document, or if you could get help on the page I'm on right now. And so that's another thing where we're going to have the ability for even users, as you tailor Thrive to your needs, and as even as we sometimes work with you to make custom things for your business, that you can almost like think of it almost like a wiki, where you can edit your help docs right on the page in context, so that if someone is using this wondering, and they're at your organization wondering, how do we use this? How do we make work requests? Or what happens once I submit this? You can make those changes to documentation right in line. I thought that going back to what might users notice or not notice in this update is another big thing we're trying to do is make sure that customizations stay intact. So that also should be true. So if we've tailored Thrive at all, this update shouldn't affect that. You should be able to continue to use those. And really in the long run, some of the things we're doing will help us to make and continue to tailor Thrive to your specific business needs in better ways, I think, than before.
That's awesome. And so if current Thrive users want to get more information about this, or want to just see some more screens, what this theme might look like, or maybe what Kanban looks like, what would you suggest they do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for existing users and customers, we did a webinar just recently that talked about this, and as you mentioned, show some screens, give some visual indication of what some of these changes might look like. And that is available. You can contact us if you'd like. If you're already on our email list, you'll likely receive the email that references that webinar and the recording of that webinar. But if not, please reach out to any one of us and we can get you a link to that webinar so you can check out those details.
Awesome. And if maybe you are not a current user of Thrive and you're just interested in maybe checking more out about what Thrive is, what would you suggest for that?
Yeah, that's good. You could reach out. You could go to our website actually and fill out there's a contact form on there. You could call the 800 number is another way. There's also even just a live chat feature on there if you want to just reach out real quick and get in touch with someone. But yeah, a number of ways, or email info@leantech.com is another way, easy way to get in touch with us and get some info. Yeah, and right now, of course, all the stuff with this update, we've been demoing it with the product with the new update for some time now. So you already be able to see those new features if you get in touch with us and see what some of that new stuff looks like.
Awesome. Well, thanks for answering those questions. And if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to reach out, like Scott said, and we'd love to help.
Sounds good. Thanks, Casey.
Thanks.